the first thing, when I look at financial statements, which I spend a lot of time doing, the first thing is it obvious, right? Can you or others pick up your financial statements and really understand what people are trying to say? And it's not only about the business owner, but it's about the outside constituents. You might have a banker who's a critical business partner of yours, outside board members depending upon the size of your company. So my recommendation is to use key terms and use common terms and phrases that everyone's going to understand. Sometimes I see people use very unique terms that are very specialized to their business, but they hand that same information over to their banker, and their banker doesn't know how to interpret it, right? Or their board members, and they don't have a way to benchmark it. So I think that's really important. And the other thing I think, when people put together their financial statements, they need to use logical categories. I was talking with someone before we got started, and she said, well, what do you mean by that? And I said, I can ask a business owner, how much does it cost for your employees? And they will look back at me, and they can't answer that question. And they can have their financial statements in front of them, and they still can't answer that question. That's because no one's taken the time to organize the financial statements and say, you know what, we have salary expense, we have employee health care, we have employee payroll taxes, 401k costs, et cetera, the 5 or 6 things that kind of make up those costs, and gather them in one place, put them on the financial statement, and therefore start to relate that to revenue, gross profit, or whatever the most common metric is for them. They're also often terribly organized, right? I see financial statements when I walk into a new client, and they're organized alphabetically. Now, what are the odds that your most important costs begin with A, and your least important costs begin with Z? I mean, I looked at one client's financial statements, and it was for the full year, and it starts out with advertising. They don't do any advertising. There's like $20 in that account, right? And say, like, wait a minute, when you pick this up and start to read this, right, what are you trying to get out of it? So that's really the key part when I say make it obvious. Get your accountant, your bookkeeper, your CPA to help make it obvious for you and make it obvious for others. One time I was asked to go by a New York venture capital firm to look at a set of financial statements, and some of these terms might not mean a lot to business owners, but they will to my CPA brethren in the room. And the guy said to me, are these cash or accrual based? I asked him that, and he said, I don't know, can you tell me? And I said, well, yeah, they're both, right? They're mixed. There's a little bit of cash basis accounting here. There's a little bit of accrual basis accounting here. And so when someone picks these up and tries to understand your business, or when you're trying to understand your business every month, there's no jumping off point. There's no common understanding of what it is. So, think about your financial statements. Make them obvious to you.